The excitement continues with naming conventions. Your purpose is to create a standardized way to name your files so that not only you, but other users can immediately identify what's in the file, when it was created, what its purpose is, and other critical information. This is true for both recreation-oriented users and the emergency response community. Again, our GIS workgroup has adapted the protocols used by the GIS fire community. In our MapSAR folders, many of the folders provide a text file with suggested naming conventions. So for instance, your GPS file would include the date and time it was created, the name of the incident, the GPS feature type, which is whether it's a point or a line, where you obtained the file, and that can be the person's name or the type of division that obtained it, and the coordinate system and datum that file is in. Now that sounds like a lot, and it kind of is. For your home use, you may not need all that. Again though, you want to standardize how you name and store files so you can find them again, and that's your main goal. With the MapSAR installation, we also provide an Excel file that will automate and standardize how you name files. Once again, you don't have to use this exactly as it's presented, but it gives you a good idea of the detail you want to provide for naming your files. There's a lot of information here, some or much of which you may not need except on an actual SAR or other emergency operation. I'll go through some of it to familiarize you with the main needs of a file name. You can also add your own edits at the bottom so the drop-down boxes fit your specific needs. Notice how the Excel page is color-coded to where the information you're filling in on the left is entered in the columns on the right here. So on the page, notice that the timestamp of date and time is already filled in according to the computer's clock. You can fill in an incident name, for instance, we'll just put Smith, and it automatically fills in throughout the entire page. Then you can fill in the UTM zone or what other coordinate system you're using so that that shows in the name of the file. Going down the row, you choose the UTM zone that you're in, if that's relevant to your data. And I'll cover coordinate systems in the next set of videos, or you can read more about them in Chapter 4 of the GIS and SAR book. We also include here what program the data was created in. This is important because later versions are not compatible with early versions, but you may not need this at all and can just delete it. Product type refers to what it's for. For instance, a briefing map, an incident action plan, or an operations map, etc. And again, you can change this to your specific needs. The page size, you can define it as 8 by 11, 11 by 17, 17 by 22, etc. And we define ANSI D and ANSI E. Those are standardized names for specific page sizes. And that's important because when you're printing something, this tells you right away that it's going to be 17 by 22. We've said that it's landscape. The other option is portrait. You can choose the date of the operational period, and whether it's day or a night op. Again, page size. This will be for another map set. And going on down, you notice that, for instance, GPS gives you the choice of whether it's a line, a point, a polygon, or a feature. This is another file type used in GIS. Your data source can be a personal name, or it can come, say, from a forward observation, or the division, or even the GIS specialist. And again, for your needs, you can fill that in down below, and I'll show you how to do that. The file type, GPX, is the standard file for GPS, but you can also save it as a shapefile, text, geodatabase, DBF, etc. And where you got it from, whether it was a SAR team, and you can give each team a name or call them Team 1. And we'll just skip down here, but you can explore on your own. But the UTM zone it comes by, and for most of our MapSAR team, we tend to use UTM on incidents. Again, this is something you can personalize if you use, say, US National Grid or another coordinate system in Datum. And down here is the source for the drop-down boxes. So this can all be personalized according to your needs. Here's portrait and landscape, which you probably won't change, and operational period, date of operational period, and you can just fill in according to the dates you're working in. When you're done, you just right-click over one of the file names and you copy, and then you just go to the file you'll be naming, highlight, and paste that file name in. So it speeds it up, and it allows you to not have to think too much about each definition as you put it in. But basically, just look all this over, get an idea of what works for you or your agency. For many uses, you can obviously simplify this quite a bit, but always keep in mind the main purpose, which is making it obvious to another emergency worker relieving your shift, or another officer taking your place after you've transferred or been promoted, or you're looking for a file at a year later. You remember you created it, but you have no idea which one it is of the several hundred GPS or PDF map files you've now accumulated. And so a good naming convention will obviously help you track that stuff down.